Happy Monday, everyone. Today is November 11th. Happy Veterans Day, and a very huge thank you to our veterans out there. We thank you for your love of country, and we thank you for your willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. We are coming off quite a news-packed week last week. The election is done. If you've been watching our videos, we've had a lot of focus and discussion on the election. And ultimately, we had said, let's get past the election. The markets don't care if it's the red team, if it's the blue team. We just want to get past the uncertainty that surrounds the election. From our last video, we did stress that we were of the opinion that the months leading up to the election would probably be very volatile. And on this first chart, we can see that in the month of September and the month of October, in election years, those are historically very weak months. Now, weirdly, in this election cycle, September wound up being a pretty strong month, and October wasn't down, it was just slightly positive, but we didn't see the volatility that we typically see. Now what we're seeing is, okay, we're in the month of November, which across all metrics is historically the strongest month of the year. And in an election year, we tend to see the month of November and also the month of December do very, very well. So, strong months in historically weak months. Does that mean the trend continues, or do we see weak months and historically strong months? We don't know, but our hunch is telling us we're going to finish this year out quite strong. And now all eyes obviously will be on to next year. One thing I will say is, again, markets don't care, red team, blue team. What we're watching pretty closely with this transition into the Trump administration is if we look at, what he did in his first term. Tariffs were a big theme, specifically tariffs on China. I do think he does that again. And if we see that, tariff talk kick up or tariff action kick up, something we're going to, it's going to make us a little cautionary. The markets don't love tariffs. It ultimately winds up costing us as the consumer more money. So that's something we're going to be keeping a close eye on. But needless to say, we're beyond the election. Hopefully your phone calls and text messages have quieted down a little bit. But we are optimistic based on history, and I think history is going to remain on our side. Something else that we're watching is, last week after the election, the Fed cut interest rates again. So we've had 2 interest rate cuts in the last 3 months. They originally cut by 0.5%, and then last Thursday, they cut by another 0.25%. And we do anticipate another interest rate cut maybe in the month of December. It's looking likely. Now, one question that we are getting is, well, wait a second. The stock market is near all-time highs. Is it common or is it even good for the Fed to be cutting interest rates when the markets are at all-time highs? The answer is yes. So on this bottom chart, there's been 20 instances over the last 40 years where the Fed has cut interest rates near all-time highs, within 2% of all-time highs. In every single one of those 20 instances, a year later, we saw the markets even higher than they were prior to that interest rate cut. So I think the Fed is on our side. I think the interest rate cuts, even though they're near all-time highs, listen, the data's on our side. Statistically, I think that's going to be a good thing. And think of it this way. As the Fed cuts interest rates, that's less money that we're spending towards interest and more money that we have to spend on, what have you. That's a good thing. That's stimulative to the economy. So these are 2 things that Lance and I are focusing on. Wanted to keep you up to date. As always, if you have questions or something that you're curious about, let us know. Please give us feedback. We're always open to new ideas. If we don't see you before the holidays, we've got Thanksgiving coming up. I hope everyone gets together with their families. And from our family to yours, a very happy Thanksgiving and holiday season. We look forward to talking to you soon.